All right. I'm just not awake this morning, not checking my stream health, not checking everything, and I didn't have it on the right internet connection because I've got two networks on the boat. Plus, I usually stream off my phone so that I'm not on with anyone else and I don't have to trust anything. So I'm sorry about that. I screwed that up, and now you're going to have to jump across onto the new stream. So I apologize, but that's right, it'll still be there, and that way I will have done all the coffee faffing around and I'll be more to the point. So here we are again for the weather update. Quick recap on what I just blabbed on about was we're in V's, it's overcast, it's lovely, and we're in V's because it's a cool place to be. Great spot for maneuvering, great spot for the mooring balls, blah, 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 blah. Let's look at today in a big picture sense with predict wind. That's me, stream finished and stuffed. Here we go. And we've got a much better loading. So this is what I'm looking at now. Large scale, I'm wondering why these two models are different. And you can see that the movement of the low pressures is just a little bit different. And I've got the centering systems here versus moving over here. That's why we get the different prediction in 7 knots to 10 knots versus 6 knots to 3 knots. You know, this is why we get that different prediction in it. Anyway, so let's go high level, zoom in on this here. We're going to look at today as it burns out. Hopefully we get this sea breeze coming through here, and then we get a nice sail across. This is into 4 in the afternoon, and it's more than was forecast yesterday, so it's shifting. Both models now starting to line up, and then as we move on, this is into Tuesday night, so we're planning on being on the south side of Veligashka tonight, which, as you can show, is it's going to be a very sheltered spot for that. And then it's going to die out into Wednesday morning. We're going to have another calm morning as it shifts around and starts to go right. Here comes my southeast. Okay, let's go high level again to look at what's actually happening. And you can see pressure moving over this side, so it's probably going to kick up further and move across the bottom of Italy as it always does to create that heavy southeast. And that's what we're getting. Two different models here, getting a lot windier on the ECMWF model, and that's what we're starting to get, this real southeast flow. Now that is Thursday at 2 a.m. So we're looking at sailing Thursday, obviously, and then it's just deepening and deepening and deepening and deepening. And now in this area we're looking at 17 gusting 28. Okay, so Thursday, midday, 17 knots, gusting 28 knots. So one thing you can know, if you're in northern Croatia and you've got to go south, you don't want to be going southeast on this day because you're just straight into it. And this swell is going to build and build and build. This will produce probably the biggest swell that we get in Croatia generally all year, because it's blowing constantly from the southeast for quite a long time. I'm just going to whip over to here to make sure my stream health is good. How are we doing here? We're back in. We've got a couple of people watching, no comments yet, but that's all right. Sorry about the stream jumping around, that's just my fault. All right, so that's what's coming. So we've really got a plan around this. So let's look further. What's happening? How long is it going to hang out? Here's Thursday evening, overnight Thursday. Okay, so this has got it not so, when I say not so much, we're looking at the gust maps. We've got to look at the gust maps. 27 gusting 30. Okay, so not too turbulent here. 30 gusting 40 up where we are. 14 gusting 27. I just broke it. What did I put up? What did I click on? We might have just got an update. Here we go. Thursday. I was looking at Thursday night. There we are. Let's zoom in a little more on that. 22 gusting 30. So like a lot of wind, and it's very simple because both models are saying this is what it's got, and it's strong. It's just strong. 30 gusting 32. So then this is into Friday AM, and it's just building and holding. So you can imagine if this is blowing 30s and 40s for 2 straight days, you're going to build up swell. We can actually look at the wave map here and see what they predict. I never really trust this. 1.3 meters, so they're not saying it's going to be huge. These guys are saying we're up to 2.5 meters, 2.8 meters. That makes sense. We won't necessarily get it in here as big, but that's 1.5 meters. It's still a good swell. That's a decent swell. So the main point about all this is, and this will be a very big, very real thing for our Sharpen Up. Of course, we want to be out all week. We want to be sailing, but we've also got to be realistic and practical about where we want to be and where we've got to be in a few days' time. Now, we've got to be back in Trollgear or in Karstella, in case of one of our boats, on Friday night, afternoon, night, for charter to return, everything like that. Now, it depends on your confidence level, your ability, the ability of your boat, the slip you've got to go into, all of these things, whether you want to be docking in Trollgear in 22 gusting 26 on Friday morning, 27 gusting 35 on Friday night, Friday afternoon. So this is the issue we're facing here, is that at this time of day, it's gonna be raging. One, you've got to go get fuel. Two, you've got to get back into the berth and everything like that. So the thing is you've got to look at this and go, actually, I think, if you're a novice skipper, or if you're trying to be duty of care, you want to be back already. And that's a horrible choice to make, because you probably don't want to travel on that Friday. But that's a really stink choice to make, because you're going to have to give up some of your charter time. You have to be in the port instead of there. But this is all down to how much you're willing to risk, or the ability and the ability of your crew, all right, the ability of the boat. So this is something we're going to have to really look at for the flotilla and see when it is we're going to aim to get back. Because if you were being super conservative, you could get back, you go back Thursday morning, all right, and still only just miss that, because that's Thursday at 11:30 a.m. So this is real. You have to make some really tough decisions as to when you're going to get your boat and your crew back. So we're going to have to talk about that, and we're going to have to monitor it. So at the moment, we've got to make a plan to be within range to get back on Wednesday morning. I don't want to be back on Wednesday morning. I'd love to do some heavier wind parking and things like that. Trollgear's quite good and sheltered, and the berth we're going on to in Baltic Marina is, all of these boats will be going, in Baltic will be going stern to the wind in the southeast. So it's one of the better positions to dock in, as opposed to bow to the wind. But whatever it is, it's going to be heavy, and it's going to be a lot more than we've been practicing docking in, because we've only had 10 knots when we're in Startigrad docking, and so it's just, you've got to go on your ability. So if anyone's got any questions about this, please drop them into the comments. Obviously, we're going to have our skippers briefing here for those that are here, and we're going to chat about that. That's fine. But if you're out and about, you want to think about some really good holds for those nights. And if you're out for longer, places like Startigrad, Vizkut is actually a good place to be in this as well, as long as it doesn't turn on you, because it's very well sheltered from this swell. So Dervenik would be great. And obviously the home marine is Milner on Brach down here. Will also be very sheltered. So just make sure you've got a spot lined up for these nights, because it could also be getting a bit wet. No, not too much. I think we're not worried too much about the rain as such. It's all mainly wind. So that's what's going on. Anyway, thank you for watching. That is our weather update for today. And looking forward to tomorrow to hopefully see that southeast back off. Peter B, what has he said here? Even for an experienced skipper, you need to consider the crew on board and the risks going into the marina, and big winds. Safety comes first. 100% agree with this, Peter. And that's, sometimes as a skipper you get to be the hero because you got to take people out and they all have this great time. Sometimes as a skipper you've got to be the bad guy, and that sucks. But you've got to make that call. And now, call me. I think Peter B's been calling me the admiral here. Now, as the admiral of this fleet right now, I'm saying, right, well, we might need to go back as early as 2 days ahead, and I hate that. In the situation that we do that, we'll make it up other ways, all right? Maybe we'll go out sailing. I've got a few ideas. I'm not going to spill all that, but it's just, these are the choices you've got to make. This is probably going to be the biggest southeast of the year, or one of the biggest southeast Hugo winds of the year here in Croatia, and it happened to fall on our weekend. So that's how it is. Who else have we got here? Terrence Harding found take 2. Yes, sorry guys. Sorry that stream dropped. That's my fault. And what do we got here? Reminds me of the storm that came through early May when you sheltered in 3 days for starting. 100%. We did do that. We had to make it. And what we did was we right, well, we know it's coming. And I wanted to be somewhere cool and fun, so that we'd get that practice, that docking, we get to experience the storm, but be safe on the boats. And still that way, we're on a sailing holiday, we're in Croatia. People were able to go from Startigrad, such a good hold, to then know that the boats are safe and go for trips out or whatever. Or in our case, we hung around. We did a lot of navigation lessons. We did knots. We did charting exercises. We did a lot of stuff, talking, and we drank a lot of cocktails. So that's the one. And if you get stuck in a bay or something like that, and you're always worried about your anchor, then that's a little less fun. So, look, thank you for watching, guys. We'll be back tomorrow, and drop your comments in there if you've got questions about this. I'll answer them when I get a chance through the day. Thanks for being here, and I'll get my stream right tomorrow, maybe. No promises.